Well, hello everybody. It's Dr. Hank, and welcome to the Dr. Hank Show. And you know what we do here? We help you be, do, and have more. And today, as usual, we just have really remarkable, amazing people that come on, and this will be real helpful for anyone if you want to become an investor and increase your portfolio primarily in real estate. But it doesn't matter if you're in real estate or not, and we're going to talk about it. And I'm very honored to have Mathia Kroder with us. And good morning, good afternoon, Matthias. Welcome to the show. That Matthias has an amazing background, and he's kind of a finance guy with Morgan Stanley, and then decided he saw an opportunity to be able to help investors and really streamline mainly the business processes and payments and whatever. And we'll get into all of that. But he is the CEO and founder of Base Lane. And the good news is that you're going to be able to, as you're part of the show and listening to this, you're going to be able to use his services, sign up for free, and be able to start using his services. And again, we'll get into that. But Matthias, welcome to the show, and thanks so much for being on.
Dr. Hank, thank you so much for having me on the show. Really excited to share, obviously, much more about Base Lane, but I think ultimately the problem we're solving is trying to give access to a whole new generation and anyone that wants to get into real estate, become a real estate investor. It's a fantastic asset class to own. Today, there's roughly 11 million individual real estate owners in the United States.
Wow.
And we see the interest in becoming a real estate investor increasing, over the last, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And technology really hasn't evolved too much to help you manage the properties that you own, manage the finances, right? There's so much that needs to be done when you acquire that first property. We want to automate a lot of that, really give a lot of time back to you. We want to help you save money in the process and really make you be a really sophisticated and actually successful real estate investor. So really excited to share much more about Base Lane, and I'll let you take it from here. I'm happy to dive into our story and everything.
Well, that's awesome. And, it's interesting that you bring up about the technology is lingering behind again. It's just a real estate thing that I don't know why that is, but real estate just it seems to be a little slow at getting it. So we appreciate you adding that because, it's really all about the technology. And I appreciate that, that you're part of that effort to, get us up to speed on the technology and what's available out there. I think let's start out with as far as how would you get started as an investor and then to have steady income? So you mentioned a little about, hey, you get one property right now. And can you tell it, like, where do I begin? So if I decide, and so why don't all of us decide right now that, hey, I want to be an investor in real estate just overall, and residential real estate increased by 20% last year. That it looks like it's going to be at least double digit, and that's just the overall basis, not to include what investors are making. I mean, it's just phenomenal. So how would I get it started then if I want to become a real estate investor? What would you recommend, Matthias?
Yeah, I mean, I think to become an investor, you obviously need to purchase property, right? And that's the first step. And so most folks are going out and actually assessing multiple properties, right? They're trying to get a feel for whether they're buying properties in their neighborhood or looking at specific regions that they know have a lot of growth and potential for asset appreciation. And so the first thing people try to do is they many times they're working with a broker or they're working with some sort of advisor or investor today that's advising them kind of how to get started.
Sure.
We want to put that into software and to say, hey, let us help you as you assess those properties.
Wow.
Let us help you as you need to get financing for those properties. Many people think that it's actually really hard to go and buy a property because I need to have hundreds of thousands of dollars or more to be able to own, a home to rent, whether it's in a duplex, triplex, or just a single family home.
Sure.
And that's not true, right? You don't need to have that much money, right? You can have a small amount of money, get a really competitive loan, and then obviously you can refinance, once you have steady income as well coming from that. And so the starting point, for anyone is, figure out what kind of property you want to own, where you want to own it. Do you want to own something, that's kind of within your neighborhood that you understand well, or are you looking for kind of growth pockets across the United States where there are demographic changes? Cities are many times, developing new tech hubs or new healthcare centers, and there's a lot of growth around these neighborhoods. And start assessing some homes, right? And hopefully, Base Savings is going to be kind of a source for you to start assessing those properties.
And so your technology can actually help assess homes?
So one of the things we're building onto our technology is providing you with the right calculators to essentially plug in, key information across those homes, and we're going to be able to kind of actually forecast what potential cash flow, what potential rent that you're bringing in from that property looks like. Right? I think there's a lot of ways to assess a property very quickly and say, look, there is potential here to keep on digging more into this.
Yeah.
This property it's located in a place that we see has potential for asset appreciation. There is potential as well for solid returns based on how much you're paying and how much you can get for rent out of it. Right? You can plug in how much you'd have to invest to kind of refurbish the home if it requires it, and all of those things. So that's the starting point, right? Being able to really assess if this is a good investment. Right, and saying, hey, what's the max I'm willing to pay? Because many times, great properties are actually quite competitive to acquire. But there's a few different investors going after them.
Got it. And so let me just see here. I'm getting an error message, and so I wanted and we can edit that out. But I see where. Let me just see on what's going on there. So I think, okay, so I think we're good. And again, we'll edit that part out there, on that. So you have the tools. That's awesome. So you have the automated tools to be able to plug in the basics, if you will, on properties to determine whether or not that's a viable investment property at that price and whatever. And so I love that. And so now we have what property we want. So step one is to identify the property. You help do that, and then what's the next step?
Yeah, but the next step is actually securing financing. So we right now have a partnership with a lender that can lend across the United States, but we're developing a series of kind of automated services to actually go search for all sorts of different types of loan, whether you're looking for a agency loan or whether you're looking for a hard money lender or a private money lender. Depending on what type of landlord or investor you are, you may require a different type of loan product. We're building out a product that will actually, you're going to answer, the type of investor you are, how many properties you own, whether you're below kind of the agency cap, and then actually find the best loan for you. A lot of times, investors getting started with real estate don't understand the different types of loans that are available for them. What are the different costs that each of them come with? Right? If you're going to be going and doing a rehab, you're probably just getting kind of a short-term loan to go to the rehab. Then you're going to kind of refinance into potential agency loan or to a hard money loan. And so there's a lot of things that we can do there to actually just help, one, educate what's the best product, but also help you find that product.
That's unbelievable. That's fantastic. So you can identify the property, get me the financing, and best place to get it, and understand where it is depending on what type of property and if you're flipping it or whatever. And then the next step.
Then the next step is obviously closing on that property, and there's many requirements. There's obviously insurance, right? All loans are going to require that you have insurance on that home. And many times what we see is that, you only have a certain amount of time to actually go and get insurance. And many times, the broker that's helping you find the property may, recommend you to go work with the broker that they know. We actually have an automated insurance partnership that's plugged directly into our product. Just with the address of your home, we're able to give you an instant quote. Takes then, 1 minute answering kind of very easy questions across your property, the year it was built, specifications across kind of the construction and more details of the property. We can actually give you, a firm quote. You can actually close, just property liability insurance on our platform within a minute, right? All done online, all done on our platform. You don't have to lift up, your phone and be negotiating and waiting for multiple offers. And what's great about that service is that it's not just working with one carrier. We're actually going behind the scenes and searching across many different carriers, actually searching for the best price with you. We have a partnership with a fantastic brokerage platform that's called Obi that specializes just in investor property insurance.
Wow.
And so, go test it. You'll see that you'll probably be saving 10 to 20% off of what you're getting off of traditional insurance brokers. So it's a fantastic problem, and that's just getting started. That is even the core piece of our product, right? That's just helping you kind of get to the right things that you need.
Right. And so on closing, you help with the insurance, and I love on how it's all automated. And when you brought up about all the waiting online and everything, that God darn, I mean, I travel the world, and I've been on the phone with American Airlines and whatever, Dubai, and it's just ridiculous. I'm waiting on the phone all the time, so that's a sense of relief. So that's the third step on the closing. The next step.
Yeah, so this is where we get into the really interesting piece, which is actually kind of the core product that we've built, which is you buy a property, and it's a small business essentially.
Yeah.
And so you need to have a bank account for it. We highly suggest that you buy your property in an LLC, so you have an independent structure for that property. Some investors are buying it kind of in their same name, and that's not a problem. But we highly recommend obviously segregating that, right, to have protection. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to open a bank account.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do bookkeeping, which is you have all sorts of deductible expenses that you have, right? Whether that is maintenance on the home. Obviously, you're paying interest and principal on the mortgage. You're paying your taxes. You're paying your insurance. You may be paying for advertising costs to kind of find new tenants. There's a series of expenses that go into owning an investment property, and so you need to kind of organize those.
Yeah.
Right? We see so often that many investors are using Excel documents or just relying on the ledger of their bank account that is not built for them to essentially manage all of that. Right? Because at the end of the year, you have to do taxes, and we see that most investors are going and actually hiring many times expensive accountants to reconcile all of their finances, which is quite time consuming, right? Being able to say, hey, these are all the transactions that occurred across the whole year, from rent that came in to all the expenses to CapEx and the kind of refurbishment stuff that you do on the property. So Basin has actually gone, and we have built out a banking platform that's interconnected to an automated bookkeeping tool to really automate the way finances work for an investor, right? I love Chase and I love Bank of America. Both are banks that I use on my personal life, but they're not made for investors of real estate.
For sure.
And so our product, you can open up a bank account online. It takes less than a minute, and then from there you can actually open up sub accounts to that account. Each of them have their own account number, routing number. So you can actually go and segregate for, imagine a duplex. You have unit 1, unit 2. So you automatically start to have 2 bank accounts now for unit 1, unit 2. And that you don't even have to go through a bank account process. Just with a click of a button, those 2 bank accounts appear because we've already gone and done the KYC or the KYB on you.
So would I start though? Do I start out with like a Chase and I have that bank account, and then you do this, or is it you're connected with the bank so we can?
So we have built out a partnership with a bank in Virginia called Blue Ridge Bank. And actually we own the whole experience online. So we are a bank through Blue Ridge Bank. So you're opening up a Baselane bank account, you're receiving a Baselane debit card. So the whole experience is managed by us.
My goodness gracious. And that's national?
That's across the United States, correct?
Yeah, my God, that's fantastic. So, and I understand that's a big thing, and just for us to, kind of take in, and it's really good to help everybody to understand here's the steps that you really need to do in this bookkeeping part. Normally for most of us, it's about 86% of us that we don't want anything to do with any of that stuff. And so we usually just kind of put it to the side. But my experience in business, which is vast, has been that if you don't take care of that part, you're not going to have very good business. So you have it, organized to where, hey, you can do your thing and it'll automatically, I'm assuming, put it into the different pots, if you will, on expenses, revenue, and whatever. So now I have my bank and everything. And again, I understand that's your main core product. And then is there anything else that you do?
Yeah, 100%. So, as you mentioned, kind of the bank account is the source of truth, right? Where your money sits.
Yeah.
But you need to keep, your business organized, right? So you want to have obviously all your transactions categorized to the right category, which actually is the tax code that they'll be associated with when you actually go and file taxes. So at the end of the year, you're just pressing a button, you're downloading a tax package, and you can file taxes on your own, or if you still need support, you can obviously hire an accountant. We're building out integrations into automated tax software as well, but really giving you what's important, the ability to assess the performance of that property in real time. So imagine if you now have all of your transactions across your property from your bank account interconnected into this bookkeeping tool. Now we're providing you with an income statement and a cash flow ledger for each property and also for your portfolio. Right. And so many investors have the goal to keep growing their portfolio, keep increasing the amount of passive income that they can build. And so we have many customers today that have 10 properties. And so they have a bank account for each property. They've gone and created sub accounts for each of those properties. You can actually tag to make sure that every time a transaction comes into each one of those accounts or sub accounts, it's automatically tagged into the bookkeeping tool to that property. So when you look at your income statement, when you look at your cash flow ledger, we have a really powerful filter tool where you can actually start to see really beautiful income statements for each property. How it's performing. What is your net operating income for that property for the last month? How have utility bills fluctuated across potential different months? Like, is it it's more expensive maybe in the winter, or maybe more expensive in the summer if you're relying heavily on AC? And so you can start to see a lot of those things, and it's very important.
It's just amazing. You really have it down, and I'm assuming that's the last part of the process.
Yes, there is one other piece, which obviously is which is the most important piece to become a real estate investor, which is obviously to collect rent from your tenants. And so we have an automated rent collection tool that's been built directly into our banking and bookkeeping product. And so you can essentially, today in the United States, over 50% of current investors are still collecting rent through check or paper. Check or cash, apologies. And so and many of the ones that are collecting it through digital means are collecting it through Venmo or through Zelle, right? Which are these peer-to-peer payment platforms. But why not automate that? And so you set up rent collection on our platform, set up all the parameters of how much rent is, what are the fees, you set up if you want to charge late fees, then you enter the information of your tenants, and then we send them an invite on your behalf. They then have their own platform where they can actually visualize all the invoices of rent, for the period of time that or if they're on a month-to-month rent collection, they'll receive an invoice every month. And then they can pay through bank transfer, they can pay through credit card, they can pay through debit card. They have a platform where they can actually visualize, their rent, and notifies them if they're late, notifies them when payments have gone through. You're notified, of course, obviously, if someone has not made a payment, that we are no longer having to chase someone. So it just starts to reduce all of the busy work that any investor has to do on a day-to-day basis just to manage their finances. So then you can actually focus on being an investor, on focusing on saying, hey, let me go look at that next property. Let me spend some time looking around this cool new neighborhood of town where I think there's a lot of potential. And let me go and find that next property, right?
Well, even better than that, us investors have, where we keep on increasing our portfolio, and so then we don't have time to do it, and then we have to hire people to be doing all this stuff. So that actually takes away, and every 1% margins are critical, and if you can save on that type of costs on that as well, and I say this just to make sure that I have it all clear, but based on my experience, I think you have everything other than finding the renter. Is that right?
That is correct. So right now, there are fantastic tools out there, from apartments.com to Zillow to realtor.com that are great platforms for listing your property to rent. And I think in the future we'll potentially can integrate to be able to help you syndicate that listing across those platforms. Right now we're not doing that. We're really focusing on on the financial piece.
You basically have it all. Again, I just was curious on, because you have
Yeah.
really included it from the beginning. So basically the 6 steps that you've outlined, and again, you identify the property, and you get the financing, you do the insurance for the closing, you get the bank accounts all set up, you can then assess performance, which is another critical point to investing, is to assess that performance. There's a lot of people are just doing stuff, and they really don't step back and say, hey, how is the performance of this property? Because there could be ways for you to top grade, if you will, and take those lower ones and get rid of them, and then top grade to better performing investments on it, and then an automatic rent collection. So it's really incredible, Matthias. How would we get a hold of you now in order to, or your system that, and again, everybody, it's free to sign up for this program and to take a look at it. So how would we go about doing the next step, and that is getting with you and your company to be able to help us do all this?
Yes, I mean, to sign up, it's not just free to sign up, but our actual product is free to use. We know that all investors try to be very lean, right? We want to be able to save as much in the operating of your business so that you can have the strongest bottom line as possible. But you basically just go to baselane.com. That's BASELANE.com,
Okay.
and it takes 20 seconds to open up a Baselane account. Then you can open a Baselane banking account. You can also interconnect your existing bank accounts as well. Maybe you want to bring in a credit card or a bank account that has all of your previous ledger, and you're now looking to kind of upgrade into kind of a new bank account, a new type of bank account. You can start set up rent collection, and then once you have your financial transactions flowing through, our bookkeeping ledger is there as well.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. So that's as easy as it as that. Baselane.lane.com. And again, you can see Matthias's name there, and it's baselane.com, and sign up for this. So every investor, I would highly recommend you do that. And then do you have testimonials and everything to make people feel comfortable? Is that on that website then?
Yes, 100%. So we currently, we're a young business. We started, roughly around 2 years ago. We have thousands of landlords that are using our product today. We have tens of thousands of properties on the platform today. As we've seen, many landlords are bringing in obviously more than one property. Many folks are bringing 5, 10 properties onto the platform. And you're also, if you're not convinced yet, ready, so you can also set up a live demo. So you can come into our product. There's a little icon at the bottom, a little chat function, and you can set up a live demo with our team. I'm always available to also chat. You can reach me at matthias@baselane.com, and we can show you the product. I think we're just getting started into what is going to be an amazing product. We have a lot of things coming in the next couple of months until the end of this year to really start driving even more information. As you mentioned, you want to be able to benchmark yourself, and we really want to help every investor actually improve the returns they have on their property, benchmark themselves to other like landlords, and see where they can improve. And so there's a lot of things that are coming. So please stay tuned.
That's awesome, Matthias. Well, I really appreciate you being on the show today and showing us this. And afterwards, I'm going to connect you with some investors that can use your product. So it's definitely the way to do this effectively, and to really streamline costs and to be able to have a handle on your business. And you got to have that handle on the business, and you're able to do that. So with 100%. That, I thank you very much for your time. Any other words of wisdom to leave us with?
No, I mean, I think, look, real estate investing is a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah.
Getting started may seem challenging, but with the right technology, it really isn't. And it really start to streamline other things. And I think that the future of real estate investing is a bright one. And we hope everyone kind of comes to our platform and checks it out. If you have any questions, we're here to answer them.
That's fantastic. Hey, thank you so much. We appreciate your gifts that you're giving the world here and all of us to be able to become easily an investor and grow our investment portfolios and grow our wealth as well as our business. So, with that, we thank you for being on the show. And everybody, I thank you for watching today. And know that everything that you want is coming your way. And don't forget, I have Easy Money, Easy Life, the program, just $97. You can email me, drhank@drhank.biz, B-I-Z, and get the most incredible new program, the best one I've ever had. And out of my 16 books and everything, this is a program of programs. And Matthias can help you to be that investor, and I'll help you to have your dreams come true. And with that, we thank you all. Take care. All the best. Bye bye.
Thank you, Dr. Hank.